Let me explain to you what you have in front of you. So, we are going to be, as per the title today, constructing segments. We're going to be doing segment addition postulate with this guy. Part plus part makes whole, or part plus part makes whole. We're going to do a lot of parts and other pieces of parts and pieces and put them all together for wholes. Okay, a lot of different kind of wholes. Now, you can see here that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different. Oh, thank you. You can see here that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different length line segments, and they are identified by particular letters X, Y, Z, B, and A. And we are going to combine these together to make new line segments. Okay? So you'll see here that your paper is broken into boxes, and then inside the box, there is a working line segment for you to build your new line segment on. You see that? So like question 1, this will be the working line segment. For question 2, this will be the working line segment. For question 3, this will be the working line segment that you're going to build your new line segment on. Okay? Get the idea? All right. So let's kind of just jump right in here and we'll do one together, and then hopefully that'll give you an idea of how to do this. Okay? All right. So we'll call this example 1. And we are going to construct. Okay, first important note. When I say that word, construct, that means you're using this guy. Okay? This is your construction tool, your compass. Okay? There'll be times where I ask you to draw or sketch. That's different. Okay? But today we're constructing, which means that this is the tool that you need to use. This is the tool I'm grading you on using. If you use another tool, then you're not showing me mastery of that. I can't give you a grade on the assessment. So it's important you do that, okay? All right. So we are going to construct line segment DF so that it is equal to y plus x. We are going to construct line segment DF so that it is equal to y plus x. Now here's the first thing that you're going to do with all these problems. I want you to visualize first. We're going to do these problems left to right, every one of them, okay? And I want you to visualize first, what would you end up doing if you had to create a new line segment from point D to point F, and it had to be part plus part long? Well, you would have to start with the length of y, and then add to that the length of x, correct? That makes sense, doesn't it? Okay? And since we know that all we're doing is taking y and adding another length to it, we could just pick a place over here-ish, like that. And we could put a little point there. And we could call that D, because we know it's going to start right there. And here's how we're going to do this. Again, I've mentioned that this is a precision measuring tool, right? So we're going to start with the length of Y. So let's get our compasses. And you're going to put your compass pointer here. And then you're going to use this distance up here to get your measurement for Y. Snug that down, so that you have a good opening of Y units long. You're going to come down here to point D. You're going to put your pointer at point D, and then you're going to make a nice clean arc through here like that. Essentially what you've done is made a radius Y units long. Does that make sense? Okay, now, here's the important part. You need to tell me that you understand what distance you just made. So from point D to this new mark, watch how I draw this. You're going to make a little brace. It's going to be a little down and then kind of a swoop out to a point and then a swoop and then a little up like that. And you're going to tell me that that is Y units long. Now, if you can't get the whole swoop in there, that's okay. Just, you're going to get a lot of practice at this. So try it. That's how you're going to indicate to me that this is Y units long. Now, a couple things I'm looking for. I'm looking for a nice long arc here that's very sharp and well-defined. That's why you have a nice sharp pencil, okay? I'm not looking for a little teeny tick mark. I don't want to see this over here. The reason I did this here is because it's just my starting point. But when you're measuring it off with your compass, I want to see a nice, clean, long arc over here. Everybody got that? Okay? All right, now, from Y the length of y, we need to add to that the length of x. Part plus part makes whole, right? So then now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put my pointer at x and I'm going to reset my compass so that I can get my distance x where I want it. And then I'm going to snug my compass down so you can see now I have my distance x. And then I'm going to come over here to the end of my line segment where my distance y ended. And then I'm going to make a nice, clean, very clear arc so it looks like I did it with my compass. I know that that's distance x, so I'm going to indicate that by doing my little swoop here. Now I have a line segment that is y units long and x units long. I'm done, right? I've created a new length. So now out here, I can put a point, and I can call that F. And then I'm going to take my highlighter. And if you want to use a ruler, you can. You don't have to. I like to. But what I do when I'm using my highlighter and my ruler is I drop my ruler off of my line just a little bit like that. And then I run my highlighter from D to F. And now you have created line segment DF whole, that is part plus part, y and x. Wow. Segment, addition, postulate. Part plus part equals whole. Part plus part equals whole. Yeah, right? What do you think? That's not so bad, right? You get the idea so far? Okay, good. Yeah, true that. Speaking truth. Okay, how about let we do example 2? All right, example 2, we are going to construct line segment RS, and line segment RS is going to be 2z plus a long.
Oh, so 2 times z.
So 2 z's and an a. RS. Now, it's important that you make sure you're clear on your definition between your 2's and your z's. I like to cross my z's. If you don't cross your z's, just make sure your lines are very, angular as opposed to your 2, which should be curved. All right. So picture in your mind what you're going to do first before you do it. Make a plan, right? In woodworking, I'm a big woodworking fan. They always tell you to measure twice and cut once. All right. So pick a plan in your mind. What's it going to look like? What are you going to do to get 2 z's and an a long from R all the way out to S? You got an idea? You got a plan in your mind? Okay. Your plan should have been something like, well, I'm going to start at point R. I'm going to mark off a Z. I'm going to mark off another Z. Then I'm going to remeasure and get an A. I'm going to mark off that A, and then I'm going to put my closing point and highlight. Yes. Did you follow what I did?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. You do it.
That was correct, right? Okay.
If you're moving in the right direction, you should have been heading this way right here.
Yay.
All right, let's see how you did. You should have gotten this for your new line segment, RS. Right, we know to use those letters, right, because it's right here in the name, from R to S. That's the length of the line segment from R, beginning at R to S, is 2 Z's and an A long. 2 Z's and an A long. 2 Z's and an A long. Part plus part plus part makes whole. Variation on the segment addition postulate. How we doing? Good so far? Not too bad, right? Okay, good. All right, I'm going to have you do example 3 all on your own without any checkpoint steps along the way. Let's see if you can get all the notation that you need to get. I would like you to construct for me, please, line segment LM that is Y plus A plus Z units long. That's all yours to do from the beginning to the end. Visualize it. Get a picture in mind what you're going to do first. Make a plan mentally. Got a plan mentally in your head what you're going to do. And then once you have a plan, if you think it's a good plan, put it into action. All right, ready, go. Oh my God. Okay. We didn't realize Here is segment LM. How many people got that all the way through? How many people got all your labels right? Don't forget your labels. Super important. You got to tell me you know your measurements. All right? Good? Okay. What's that? Yeah, I mean, technically, no, it doesn't because it's an addition problem and we could move numbers around. But for sake of what we're doing today, as we get a little bit more complicated, it's just going to be easier to work left to right. So we're going to, for today, say, let's always work left to right. That way we're consistent with our answers. When I put my answers on the screen, they'll match yours. We'll all be on the same page. So, okay, good. Well, hey, you know what? That was easy. Let's make it harder. What? No. Example 4. Keeping in mind the idea of left to right, I want you to construct segment PL that is going to be B plus Y minus A units long. Uh-oh.
Oh, I get it.
B plus Y minus A units long. Okay, all right, let's visualize. Visualize in your mind. Think about what you're going to do left to right to create a line segment that's B plus Y minus A units long. Okay, I'll give you some steps along the way. But go ahead and get started and let's see what you're doing. Give it a try. It's always good to give it a try. I'm gonna do a checkpoint. So hopefully you got here. Right, working left to right. Take segment B, add to it segment A, or sorry, segment Y. Now we gotta take off segment A. Okay, well I'm gonna need to get an A measurement. And I can go all the way to the top of my paper, or you know what? I can just use this one here too, because that's an A measurement, right? So I'm just going to use this one here because I know that's an A measurement. Okay, now I'm going to subtract it, right? So then where's my pointer going to go? It's going to go on the right end of Y, huh? So my pointer's going to go over here. And then this time I'm going to make an arc that's going to be angled this way. Now, for sake of keeping things clear, since we've already got a notation down the bottom here because we were adding it, let's do our notation when we're taking things off up top here so that I'm clear that that's the marking of a line segment that's A units long. All right. So think about now, where am I done with my constructions? I've added a Y to a B and I've taken off an A. I'm done with my compass, right? My constructions. But I got to put my final L somewhere. Where are you going to put your L? Think about, why don't you put your finger where you think you're going to put your L? Okay. You should put your L right here, right? Because that's going to be B plus Y minus A. This is where your L goes, and then you can highlight your PL line segment. From there to there. All right. Now we're adding and subtracting, huh? Now we're kind of monkeying the whole thing up, huh? Okay. Questions. Does it make sense? When you think about it from left to right, you're going to take a B, you're going to add a Y, you're going to back off an A, and then you should be good to go, right? Okay. You ready then? All right. Let's do example 5. You're doing this one on your own. all the way through, front to back, top to bottom, you are going to construct segment EG. And that segment is going to be y plus a minus 3z units long. Segment EG, y plus a minus 3z units long. All U, top to bottom, ready, set, go. Segment EG, y plus a minus 3z should have looked like that. Okay, check your labels, check your arcs. You should have a right-facing arc here, right-facing arc, left, and then left here, left-sided arc. Right side of the circle, right side of the circle, left side, left side, left side. Okay? Good? All right. Let's go to the back side. Okay, these are the same line segments. I just put them on the back side for you here just to make it a little bit easier to do. Okay? All right, here we go. Now, you'll notice that there's only space for 2 questions on the back here. This will be the first one we do here will be on this line, and then the second we do here will be down here on this line. So let's start with this first one here. So what did I say? Is that 5? So this is example 6. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, example 6. We are going to construct. Hey, whoa, hey, whoa, 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 hey, whoa. Focus, focus. This is where we go next level. Okay. Remember, the instruction is construct. That requires you to use this tool. Okay, we're going to construct a new segment. We're going to construct segment DC. And that needs to have a length of x plus 1/2 y. Okay, ready? Let's plan in our mind using, keep in mind, we're using this tool. We are not using this tool. We're not using this tool. This was a construction requirement. We're not using this tool. We're using this tool. Okay, let's think for a second. So if we wanted to build this left to right, we would need a starting point, right? And then we would need a length of x, right? And then we would need a length of 1/2 of y. Okay, hold on. Okay. So now here's the thing, right? We don't know how long y is. No, we're not allowed to use our ruler. That's the whole point. So we can't really guess at it. It's not like I can go, well, that's sort of half-ish. I mean, we wouldn't get it exact, right? So there's something that we can do, okay? And we actually kind of saw this already in our constructions yesterday. We saw this when we were doing our regular inscribed octagon. In fact, it was the very first thing we did with the regular inscribed octagon. But let's do this. Let's start with our point here. And we'll just start down here. And let's do our point D. And let's get our X piece, because we know we need that. That's going to be the first piece of what we need. So let's just get our X measurement marked off. And we'll label that. And actually, let's go ahead and just put a whole Y on there. Let's just go ahead and put a whole Y on there as well.
Whole Y?
A whole Y.
Ooh, are you gonna like subtract it by something?
Yeah, we're subtracted by 1/2 of Y. Well, let's start with a whole Y. And let's just put a whole Y on there. Now, if you recall the octagon construction from yesterday, let me just show you. So let's go back to the octagon construction, which is the bottom one from yesterday. If you recall, we started with an 8 centimeter line segment. And then we took our compasses and we arced above and we arced below. And then we flipped our pointer and we arced above and we arced below so that we could get these crossing intersections here and here. Remember doing that? And what we discovered was when we did that, this became a segment bisector of our original 8 centimeter line segment. That made this 4 centimeters and this 4 centimeters, which we then used to make our circle, and then we went on with our octagon. Do you remember doing that? Right? Okay, well, let's see if we could use that same concept here. Okay, let's take segment Y and let's cut it in half using that same construction. So we're gonna come here and we're gonna put our pointer at the beginning of Y, just like we did yesterday with our 8 centimeter line segment, right? So I've got my Y distance here, and I wanna make sure that that's nice and locked in. And then I'm just gonna come up somewhere above the middle-ish, and I'm just gonna put some arcs up here above the middle, right? And then I'm gonna put some arcs down here below the middle, right? So again, that same kind of idea, those crossing arcs, right? See what we did there? We're not doing the whole circle, we're just doing little arcs up here and below. And then what we did yesterday was we switched the pointer to the other side that we started with, right? So if we just come over here and we switch the pointer to the other side of our Y line, and we come up here and we cross these arcs and we cross these arcs, then we get that same sort of thing. And let's see what that does for us. So if we take our straight edge, this is not a ruler now, this is just a straight edge. We're just using this to get a straight line. We get our pencil in the right place where we want it, and then we draw a line down the middle like that. That should cut our Y in half. Now, if we can, let's check that with our compass, right? Let's make sure that that's true. So let's set our compass setting here. And then let's just move our compass over here. And oh, look at that. That's kind of cool. So by using this distance that we had here, this Y distance, right? And then we arced above and we arced below, and then we just flipped our pointer to the other end of the line segment because it's this Y line segment we're trying to cut in half. We arced above, we arced below. Where those intersections occurred was a line that cuts through at the midpoint. It becomes a segment bisector. Yeah? Okay, let's do this. Check this out. Watch this. Let's put your pointer here again at the beginning of the Y segment, right? Now, watch this. Let's pick a distance, I don't know, just here-ish. Less than Y, but clearly more than halfway. Okay, you got it? Just pick a distance, any distance in this general neck of the woods. All right? Lock your compass setting in so it's nice and snug. Now what I want you to do is I want you to arc above and below with your pointer from the left side of Y, and then move your pointer to the right side of Y, keeping the same distance here. So I've got this distance set, whatever random distance it is. It's more than halfway. Doesn't have to be the entire thing. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to arc above, and I'm going to arc below. I'm going to arc above and I'm going to arc below. And then I'm going to switch my pointer to the other side of the Y line segment, right? Out here. Same way I just did with the last one. And I'm going to arc above. I'm going to arc below. Whoa, check that out. It's on the same line. How did that happen?
Yeah, Jesus.
Wait, let's see if that works one more time. Let's do this. Again here, let's go like more than halfway, but not, anything specific. Let's go more than halfway. Again, arc above, arc below. Flip your pointer to the other side of Y, arc above, arc below. So if I go arc above, arc below, and I flip my pointer to the other side, and I arc above, and I arc below.
This looks like a Zulu shoe.
Now, there's a very specific reason why this works. We're going to talk about that, but not today. But the good news is now you have a lot of different ways in which you can cut a line segment in half, as long as you take your compass setting and you set it clearly more than halfway, and you arc above and you arc below, and then you go to the other end of your line segment, you keep that same distance above and below, you'll find the line that becomes the segment bisector for that point. Does that make sense? Okay? So it doesn't matter. You don't have to do 3 of them. You only have to do 1 of them. I just showed you that you could do it with any distance that's greater than halfway. Okay? You could actually even go more than the distance, but that kind of defeats the purpose because then you need to know an outside point here. All right, cool. So then where are we going to put our C? Yeah, at the midpoint of that line segment Y. So we're going to put our C right there. Now look, we got to indicate this measurement that we know what this is. What is that measurement right there? That is 1/2 Y. And that allows us to come in here, and then we can now highlight our line segment. DC, that is x plus 1/2 Y. Long. Got it? Okay, let's do another one. Here we go. Okay, example 7. We are going to construct segment JK that is equal to 1/2 B plus 2 Z's long. 1/2 B plus 2 Z's long. All right, let's do a visual plan in our head. I want you to think about how would you build 1/2 B and then add on to that in a consecutive fashion 2 Z's.
Can you put the Z's first?
No. Technically, yes, but I don't want you to. I want you to build it left to right because I'm going to challenge you to think about this a second. So let me ask you this. If the 2 Z's have to be on the right end of our construction over here, right? That has to tag on to the 1/2 of B. What if we started with a B and we
Don't say anything, Mr. Burton.
cut it in half? Okay, I won't say anything then. What side of B should we use?
Can you say something?
Right side of B. Okay, let's put a B down. But here's the thing, right? I need a starting point. Is that point J? Let's talk about Y. Let's start with a B. We need a B. I'm going to come up here and get a B measurement first. Okay, so you see what I just did there? I went and got a B measurement, right? Okay, so let's label that so I know what that is. That's a B measurement, right? Now think about it for a second. I want 1/2 of B and then 2 Z's more, and it's got to be in a consecutive line that I can highlight. So that means I'm going to need, from here, I'm going to need a Z and another Z, right? So I'm going to need 1/2 of B that's connected to those Z's over here. Well, I'll tell you what, let's split B in half first. Let's do that. We could split B in half. We could start with that. Okay, so we're going to split B in half. Then I just need a compass setting. Like, okay, that's probably the middle-ish. I'm just going to go clearly more than halfway, but I'm not going to go all the way out. I don't need to go all the way out. I just need to go more than halfway out, right? because that worked up above. So then I can just kind of arc here and arc here. And then I'm going to go to the other side of my B. And I'm going to arc here. And I'm going to arc here. See what I did? I picked a compass setting that was clearly more than halfway, but not all the way. I don't need to go all the way. That way I can keep my construction a little contained. And then I switched over to the other side, and I keep that setting the same. And so now I have these two intersecting arcs that I can line up. And that's half a B. And I can check it. I mean, I don't need to because I know it is, but I mean, I could set my compass and go, let's see, okay, there's half a B, there's half a B, right? I can check it. Which half of B do we want to use in our construction? The left side or the right side? We want to use the right side half of B so that we can add two Z's onto it so we can highlight. So where does our point J go? That's why we didn't start with J. Does that make sense now? And then once I have that, I'm going to go get my Z measurements here real quick. Then I need a Z. And then I need a Z. So now that I've got J here, you can see I'm going half the distance of B, and then a Z, and then a Z. So now I can take my point and put my K out here. And then I can highlight my line segment. JK at a length of half B and 2 Z's long. Okay, so I have to keep it consecutive. It's got to be one continuous line segment for JK. So you have to visualize how are you going to split these line pieces so that you can run the consecutive pieces together in the problem thinking left to right. Okay, that's how you have to visualize these problems. So in this first example up here, we started with an X and then we only wanted half a Y. So we used the front half of Y here because we did our X first and then the front half of Y. But in this question, we needed half of B and then put 2 Z's on it. It doesn't make sense for us to start with the front part of B here because then we would have to have our Z's on there in a weird way, okay? We need to have this whole back part of B. Now, is it possible to do it? Sure, it's possible to do it, but this is a clearer, consistent all the way through, okay? I mean, you could do the front half if you marked your Z's off from point J. That's also a possibility, okay? What's that? Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, good point. Thanks, Jackson. Yeah, we do need to mark this. Thank you, Jackson. Good point. We do need to indicate that that's one half of B. Good. Okay. All right. Let's keep going. Oh, and you guys thought you were going to get away with X plus Y.
It's still lighter usually.
Okay, we got 2 more constructions to do.
All about
All right, here we go. Okay, this is example 8. For example 8, we're going to construct segment TW that is Z plus 1/4 B long. We're gonna construct segment TW that is Z plus 1/4 B long. Let's get a mental plan. You have 3 all semester. So go ahead and sign out. That's your first one. Okay? Got a mental plan? I'll give you a hint. A fourth is a half of a half. Okay. I'll give you some steps along the way. All right? Go ahead. Get started. Let's see what you can come up with. You're building it left to right. Okay? Go for it. If you're moving in the right direction, you should have been heading this direction here. Now the question is what do you do with that? Let's see if you can do it. Here is your construction of line segment TW. Okay, check your arcs, check your labels. Haley, Emma, you're checking your work. You're not perfecting your handshake. Okay. Questions? Are you labeling your constructions correctly? Are you getting all the information up there that I need to see? Right? If you don't do it in detail, then it's going to not show up well on your assessment. So make sure that you're practicing the detail for the things that I'm looking for. All right. You have a challenge problem, and you have 10 minutes to get it done. All right. Here is your challenge problem. This will be example 9. All right. For example 9, you are going to construct segment VR. Segment VR is going to be 1/2 x plus 2z plus 1/8 b. 1/2 x plus 2z plus 1/8 b. Challenge problem for you. Okay, let's see what you can do. Go. 1/8 is a half of a fourth. Here is your line segment VR. Right, so you should have done your X and then cut that in half, then added on your Z's like that, added on your B, cut that in half, cut that in half, you get your fourth and then your eighth. All right. Hasta la later.